Welcome back, everybody. My name is Taylor Martin. This is the best Damn EDC. It's time for another video. And a few weeks ago, I did a video on Christmas gift ideas. It's a little too late for gift ideas now, but in recording that video, I realized that I said I carried this a lot. I carried this a lot this year. This is something I carried more than anything else. So I figured maybe it would be a good idea to make a video about my most carried pieces of gear this year. So I broke it down. I've got a few pieces for each category: pens, wallets, knives, flashlights, all that stuff. So with that said, this is the gear that I carried the most this year, definitively. And with that said, let's do the damn thing. All right, the first thing on the list is, unfortunately, my keys. And this right here has been a constant this year. Obviously, you guys know what this is. This is the JRW Gear Tough Clip. This one is a collaboration I did with Jamie for carry commission in a brass topo pattern. I go back and forth between titanium and brass, but this one is just a little beefier, a little chunkier, and I really like how it looks in the brass and aged and everything. And I get it all the time when I talk about this thing. Everybody's like, why would I buy a expensive paper clip? I've tried a bunch of key hooks over the years, and this has been my absolute favorite. In fact, I've only swapped this out, I would say maybe once or twice this year to try something else, something new that I can't tell you about yet. But I always come back to this because I think it's perfect. My keys don't fall off of it. It's easy. It goes on and off the belt loop. Super simple. If you need to take your keys off, also easy. I think it's just a great item. I've talked about it for at least a year, 2 years now. And that's for good reason. It's a really good product. So JRW Tough Clip, absolutely something I have with me every single day. The next item on this list is this right here. So this is the Vanquest Addax 18. This is the bag that I talked about in the What's in My Bag video. And I think this is a phenomenal backpack. But I do know after carrying this thing most of this year, if I were to do it again, I'd get the 25 liter instead of the 18. This one is just a hair too small for what I need and carry. And Michael from Vanquest at Georgia Bushcraft said effectively the same thing, because I had this with my daily setup in the excursion at Georgia Bushcraft, and he picked up the bag and he's like, you have way too much in this thing. And he's not wrong. I did. It was always absolutely loaded to the gills. But other than it being the smaller version and me wanting the larger, I really truly enjoyed this bag. I have some bottle cleaner that broke open in that pouch. I don't have anything in here. That being the case, I have moved on from the Addax 18, not because I didn't like it, but because I got some more bags in the mail from Verdix. I've never had anything from Verdix. They asked if I wanted to check some stuff out. I said, sure. So they sent this and 4 other bags, and I'm just testing them out, trying some new things. And I like this one a lot. Definitely my favorite of the ones that Verdix sent, but yeah, so Verdict's still out. I'm just gonna be bouncing around between bags, but the one that takes the cake this year for the most carry, absolutely, without a doubt, the Addax 18. So the next item on the list is my wallet. This is the Carry Commission Rustic Heirloom Hitchhiker collaboration in the Ulma Pueblo leather. It's really awesome. But I'm just saying, Hitchhiker in general, this has absolutely been the standout wallet in my carry all year long. I have switched out a few times for some other things, like the Giltech Raw if I want a hard wallet, or the Extra. I tried a bunch of hard wallets earlier in the year, and sometimes it will go to an Open C, typically one of the mini series, but every single time I've come back to the Hitchhiker from Rustic Heirloom. This has been in my pocket, I would say 90% or more this year. I usually switch wallets a ton. Every time I switch away to something else, I come back to the Hitchhiker. We just dropped these yesterday, and they sold out in mere seconds. So we are trying our best to keep up with the demand for these. We are making some more, but they're just super popular because they're very good. Obviously, one of my best friends makes these. I love Joe. I love this wallet. It's hard to just carry anything else. It really is. I do like other wallets, but this is the standout. Man, I said I love Joe. I take it back. Can't be nice to Joe. You can't either. Go dog on him. All right, next we're gonna talk watches. We'll be brief here. I've bounced around all over the place with watches over the years. I was staunchly against smartwatches for the longest time. I was a huge proponent of them before they became a big thing. I was a backer for the original Alerta for the BlackBerry, like way back in the day. I loved the idea of a smartwatch. I wore one religiously when the Pebble came out and the first Apple Watch, and then I got really tired of them. I hated my wrist buzzing and it was distracting, and yeah, and I still kind of feel the same way, but this year, these are the 3 most worn watches for me, period, easily. I did buy like an Apple Watch Series 3. I don't know if that was late last year or earlier this year. I wore it for a few months and then just kind of tossed it aside. Apple Watch Ultra, I did not really expect to love it, but I wear it almost every day. And the Garmin MARQ, you guys know I made a video about that. I hemmed and hawed over spending $2 grand on a fitness tracker, as anybody should kind of hem and haw over that big of a purchase on something that has a shelf life like this one. But all that aside, I swear to God, I promise you, I will do a video on both of these, and I'm gonna set a deadline for myself now. I'm gonna do it in January. I'm gonna talk about these fitness trackers and stuff. I've focused a lot on my health this year. I've gone up and down. I am definitely not as lean as I was this time last year, but I've put on some mass, some lean mass, which is good. But these help keep me straight. They keep me focused on what's important, and that is my health. Without my health, I don't really have much of anything else. So I do end up wearing these a lot, but if I'm going analog, this is the watch that's been on my wrist more than anything this year, and that is the Damasko DC58. So in terms of how much I wore each, I would say, just because I got this one later in the year, Garmin MARQ, Damasko, Apple Watch Ultra. But this has been on my wrist almost every day since I bought it. Maybe a day here, a day there, I switched to something else. If I'm working in the yard or something, I want to put this on over the Apple Watch. But that's all I'm going to say right now about the watches. I will do a video very, very soon. I promise. I've been promising it for over a year now. I'll do one on those, but these are the 3 that I've worn the most this year. The next items are going to be to the surprise of literally no one, because I've talked about them, I feel like, in almost every video this year. I'm going to go ahead and apologize now. TPT slide is the next item, and we're just gonna lump it with the SOG PowerPint. Both of these exist in my watch pocket every day. Every single day. I did switch to this for a short time after Georgia Bushcraft, and quickly went back to the PowerPint. Obviously, as you guys know, I ended up buying a black one as well. So I have this right now in my pocket every day, always. I use the crap out of the PowerPint, love it. It's one of the best multi-tools. The utility of this thing, weighed against its size, is like nothing else. I wish there was like a Leatherman in this size that was this good. There isn't. There just isn't. They don't make this anymore, and the tool set on this doesn't even come close to this one. So this is not the perfect multi-tool, but it is my favorite to carry in my pocket. And then obviously TPT slide. I'm breaking down boxes left and right all the time. And I do have a ceramic blade in there. So this is not a typical metal blade, it's ceramic, so it stays super sharp for a long time. But the downside to that is they're a little more brittle. So the tip's broken off and it's starting to chip out here, but ceramic is the way to go. Flashlights are next. I actually left one of the ones that I carried the most this year at home. Sorry, I left it in the door of the Excursion. I'm dailying the K truck now. I'm not driving 40 minutes round trip to go pick up a flashlight. Sorry, forgot. I thought we might have had a spare left over from the carry commission drop we did last week. We didn't. So it's not here, but I carry it a lot. That is the CWF Micro Arcadian TI Clicky. Love it. It's a great flashlight. AAA size, but it takes a 14400 and it's super, super, super bright. I like the UI of it. It is one of my favorite flashlights of all time, but it is expensive. It's a $450 flashlight, so I get it. Not everybody wants a $450 flashlight. That being said, the other light that I've carried the absolute most this year is the Okluma DC0. It's also in that same price range. But these are the two that they're just stupid simple. They work really well. The beam is great on both. Like, they're just that good. They're very, very, very good flashlights. So these are what I carry. They're what I grab because they're reliable. And I know that they're gonna work when I push the button, and they're gonna work how I want them to work. All of that is to say that about a month or two ago, I started exploring other flashlights, going back to other brands and just testing the waters. I got too comfortable with these lights that I like, which, as a person who's just into EDC, that's what you want, right? You want to find the stuff you like and then that be that. But as somebody who talks about this stuff day in and day out, I feel like I've forgotten some of the stuff that I should know about other brands and how other flashlights work, like why I don't love Phoenix lights. I really like them. I think they're very, very good, but they do have some shortcomings when it comes to something like, you know, we're talking literally 10 times the price or 8 times the price. But I started carrying some other stuff towards the end of this year. I've got this Reeve in my pocket, but the ones that got the absolute most amount of time in the pocket, bar none, CWF and the Okluma. Absolutely. Up until this year, I was always just kind of swapping pens out constantly between Tactile Turn, what was Urban Survival Gear, which is now Smooth Precision, and Big Idea Design, and anything and everything coming my way. I was always swapping pens. This year, I really didn't swap through pens a whole lot. I did carry some Tactile Turn and my Grimsmo Saga some, but by and large, what was in my pocket on most days was one of these two, if not both of them. So first is this one. This got pocket play, I'd say the first half of the year more than any other pen. This is the dual side click mini from Big Idea Design in zirconium with a Damascus clip. And then the other is the Fountain EDC from Big Idea Design. So as you guys know, I have recently told you that I have started carrying a fountain pen. These are the two pens that are in my pocket more often than not. That's just what it is. I like the size of this right here for something that's ballpoint. I just don't feel like on a day-to-day I need something any bigger than this. I don't do a ton of writing, so this is compact. I don't really notice it if it's not in my pocket, or if it is, like, it doesn't take up any space or weight really. And it's also very, very good. Like, I like it, and I can write with it comfortably. This just writes like a dream, as a fountain pen should. And I like it. I like the cap. It's kind of fidgety. I love the finish on it, and it writes really, really, really well. So those are the two pens that I carry pretty much all the time. All right, we're gonna finish on knives. I'm sure you guys have figured that out by now. And these are the knives that got the absolute most time in my pocket this year. This one is a surprise to literally no one. You guys know, I've said it a million times, if I could only have one knife, this would be it. And that's still true today. The Umnumzaan is extremely tough. It's understated, but like it's a constant. I know that it's gonna be there. I know it's gonna work, and it's just good. It's one of the best knives, if not the best knife in my collection. I love it. I love the shape, size, everything about it. I don't carry it as much as some of these others, but I do know in my heart of hearts, if I only had one knife, this would be the knife. So CRK Umnumzaan is definitely gonna be in this list. Like, it's one of my most carried. I throw it in the pocket all the time. Next up, the second most carried knife. I'm considering both of these the same knife because effectively they are, but we're talking about McNees, and we have the PM AutoMAC and the PM MAC2. Same shape, roughly the same size. The AutoMAC is slightly smaller, but it's effectively the exact same knife, and they both feel like big, hard use tools is really what they feel like. So if I'm working in the yard or something, I typically grab this knife. Working out on the truck or in the shop or whatever it may be, I like to grab this knife. And I've said it before, this would be, I think, the perfect knife if it were on washers instead of bearings. I'm probably gonna get some washers for it and switch it over just to see. But yeah, these two right here, stellar knives, and I'd say that I've carried them collectively about a third of the year, right? Ever since Blade Show, I'd grab them every so often. I'd say I probably carried the AutoMAC more than this one, which is surprising to me because I'm not really an automatic person, but that's what it is. And then, of course, the absolute most carried knife for me this year, no doubt in my mind, is the Invictus from PDW, or Prometheus Design Works, and Terrain 365. So this is a collaborative version with Terrain 365. It's got the Teravantium blade. So what that means is that this thing cannot be rusted. You can't rust it. It's dendritic cobalt. It can't be rusted. And that means it's the perfect knife for me because I have gotten surface rust on my PM MAC2. When I was at Georgia Bushcraft, in fact, I rusted my PM MAC2, which is a Magna Cut. I rusted it. So this one right here, it's just easy to throw in the pocket and just carry day in, day out for months at a time. I don't get bored with it. I think it's a beautiful shape. It's a great knife. It's very utilitarian. I like the micarta. I like that it's a bolster lock. I like how it feels, the action, and I love that it's got glow studs. There's really not much about this knife that I don't like other than how it's constructed, because I don't like how I've got to adjust the pocket clip. I have to take everything apart. It's more complex in its construction than it needs to be, I think. But besides that, the day-to-day with this knife, but for sure, without a doubt in my mind, these are the knives that got the most pocket time in 2022. That's it. That is the most carried gear from me this year. That's 15 items. Everything will be linked down below. And tell me, what was your most carried gear this year? Is there something that you'd like to see me do in the coming year? Something that I should experiment with? Maybe it's carrying nothing but a fixed blade for like half the year. I don't know. Tell me what you want to see me do in 2023, what you'd like me to explore, whether it's extremely high-end flashlights, carry nothing but budget gear for a while. I want to know what you want to see in 2023, because 2022 was a very big year for me in terms of just like getting my mind right and understanding, you know, better how to be a creator and just finding myself. It's been a very good year for me, mentally, physically, everything. So 2023, I'm excited for it, but I'm coming into it not 100% sure where I should go. I've got ideas, but I also want to know what you think should happen in the coming year. So with that said, thank you guys for watching all year. It's been a great year, and I'll see you in the next video. You'll see me one more time before the end of the year, and then after that, I'm going to take some time off to just be with my family, get some stuff done around the house, fix my shop at home, which I've not really been able to use like I wanted, but I'll be back probably mid to late January. But that's it for now. Thank you guys again for watching. I will see you guys in the next video, and until then, carry on.